Okay, let's look at Math 23.5, page 497 and 498, and Chapter 23 review on pages 501 and 502. This page is called Problem-Solving Workshop, and the skill is to choose a method. As we've looked in this chapter, we've had a few different ways that we can add our two-digit numbers, and some of those examples look like this. You can use mental math. For example, 40 plus 20 is the same as, 40 is the same as 4 groups of tens, and 20 is the same as 2 groups of tens. We can use this strategy pretty easily because both of these two-digit numbers end with zeros, knowing that it's groups of tens. So 4 plus 2 is equal to 6 groups of tens. 6 groups of tens is the same as 60. So one of those strategies is just making those groups of tens 4 plus 2. That's pretty simple. You know how to do that one. You could also use count on by tens, and this one we've looked at before from a different page. I'll show you what I mean. This page right here, where we used a hundreds chart to help us count, that's what it means count on by tens. For example, 52 plus 20 is equal to, 52 ends with a 2, so we would go to our twos column, scoot down until we find 52, and then we need to add 20. 20 is the same as 2 groups of tens, so we're going to jump down 2 times. So if we go back to 52 and we jump down 2 times, it goes 1, 2. Where do we land? On 72. So counting on by tens is using the 100s chart to help us. And then the last strategy is what we've looked at the last few days. It says you can use WorkMat 3 and cubes. That's when we have our tens box and our ones cubes. For example, 33, shown here with 3 tens blocks and 3 ones cubes, plus 6 ones, 6 more ones. 33 plus 6, I would start here in my ones column, add all my ones. So 6 plus 3 is equal to 9. And then I add my tens. 3 plus 0 is equal to 3. 33 plus 6 is equal to 39. Okay, so we have these 3 different strategies. So when we work today on our problems, they're going to ask us to go ahead and do the addition, but also identify what strategy worked best for us. Okay, so you might find a strategy works better for you than another one. That's totally fine. But one thing I do want to point out, I think mental math works really well when they both end with zeros. I think that using the hundreds chart works well when we have one of them that ends actually not in a 0, but the other one does end with a 0, and they're both two-digit numbers. And then I think this last one works really well when there's a 2-digit number plus a 1-digit number. Okay, so we'll try out these different strategies. Let's take a look here. Number 1, 21 robins are in the trees. 6 more robins join them. How many are there in all? Right, we know that word phrase in all tells us this is an addition problem. So let's take a look. We have 21 plus 6 more. 21 plus 6 more. So if I start with 21 and I'm adding 6 more, this probably would work best not with mental math, not with a count on by tens, but actually using the cubes of the blocks. So let's try that out. So 21, we're going to add 6 more. So 21 I would show with my 2 tens blocks. I'm going to draw them as straight lines today. This is my tens column. And I'm going to have my ones column. 21 has just 1 ones cube. But then I need to add 6 more. So I'm going to draw 6 more. Okay, so I have 21 plus 6. How many are all together? Well, counting first all of your ones. How many ones cubes do you have? 6 plus 1 is equal to 7. 2 tens blocks plus nothing is still equal to 2. We read that number as 27. And the strategy that we used the blocks and the cubes. So let's circle that was our strategy here. Okay, let's continue with another one. Pat counts 62 orange leaves. He counts 20 red leaves. How many does he count in all? Well, I know in all means this is addition. And here are my numbers. I have 62 orange leaves and also 20 red leaves. Let's take a look. Here we have 62 plus 20. Does that look like mental math? No, because one of them ends with 0, but the other one does not. So I wouldn't use the mental math strategy here. Does that look like count on by tens? It does. They are 2-digit numbers. Both of them are 2 digits. One of them ends with a 0. The other one does not. So we're going to use our hundreds chart to help us out. So we have 62. 62 ends with a 2. So I'm going to go to my 2 column and scoot down until I find 62. Okay, here's 62. And I'm adding 20. 20 is the same as how many groups of tens? 2 groups of tens. 20 is the same as 2 groups of tens. So I start at 62 and I jump down 2 times because that is 2 groups of tens. So here we go. 1, 2. Where do we land? On 82. That means altogether 62 plus 20 is equal to 82. And the strategy that we used was count on by tens. When you're ready, let's turn our page. We'll continue on this side doing the exact same thing. Number 1, the park has 11 maple trees. A park worker plants 6 more. How many maple trees does the park have altogether? Altogether is a key word that means addition. Okay, let's take a look. The park has 11 maple trees, and a park worker plants 6 more. Should we use mental math? No, these are not both 2-digit numbers that end with 0. That's not going to work. Should we use count on by tens? No, again, only one of the numbers has 2 digits. This one is only a 1-digit number, and that's not going to work. Should we use the work math 3 and our cubes? I think that's a great choice. Okay, we are going to start with 11 and add 6 more. So I'm going to show my tens column and my ones column. 11 is 1 group of tens plus 1 ones cube. And I'm going to add 6 more ones. Okay, 11 plus 6 more, I start by adding in the ones column. 6 plus 1 more is equal to 7. 1 group of 10 plus nothing is equal to 1. 11 plus 6 is equal to 17. And the strategy that we used was like a work math 3 and our cubes. Number 2, the pet store has 66 yellow birds and 30 red birds. How many birds does the store have in all? That tells us addition. Should we use mental math? Not here, because mental math works best when they both end with a 0. Should we use count on by tens? That would work well because they're both 2-digit numbers and one of them ends with a 0 and the other one does not. So let's start there. 66 ends with a 6. Let's go to our sixth column. We'll scoot down until we find 66. There it is. And then we're going to add 30. 30 is the same as 3 groups of 10. So we'll get to jump down 3 times. Here we go, 66, and we count. 1, 2, 3. Where did we land? 96. 66 plus 30 is equal to 96. And the strategy we used was counting on by tens with our hundreds chart. Number 3, there are 33 owls in the forest. 5 more owls join them. How many owls are there in all? Okay, we have a 2-digit number plus a 1-digit number. What's a great strategy for that? Work math 3 and cubes. That would be a great strategy. Let's try it. Okay, 33. I'm going to make my tens and my ones columns. 33 has 3 groups of tens and 3 ones cubes. 5 more. That's 5 ones cubes. I'm going to draw in 5 more ones cubes. Okay, here's my addition. When I add, I always need to make sure I start in the ones column. I need to start in the ones column here. So 3 plus 5. Well, 5 is the greater. So 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 ones. Tens, I have 1, 2, 3 groups of tens plus nothing. So that's still equal to 3. My total is 38. There are 38 owls in all. 4. The library has 40 books about trees. It has 50 books about birds. How many books does the library have about trees and birds in all? Let's take a look. What strategy works best here? 40 plus 50. The mental math using groups of 10. So for example, 40 is the same as 4 groups of 10. And 50 is the same as 5 groups of 10. 4 plus 5 is equal to 9. Now I just need to remember that's 9 groups of 10. So I put my 9 here. But to show that that's a group of 10, I need to add a those are some clues. A 0. 40 plus 50 equals 90. Okay, let's look at number 5. There are 75 birds in the field. There are 4 birds in a tree. How many birds are there in all? So we're doing 75 plus 4. What strategy do you think works best? I would use work math 3 and cubes. So we're going to have 75 plus 4 more. So we're going to have our tens and our ones. Now, it's a little difficult because there's not a lot of space, but I'm going to try my best, okay? So 75, I need 7 groups of tens. Not a lot of space, but here we go. Okay, there are my 7 groups of tens. And then I have 5 ones. Okay, that's 75. And I'm adding 4 more ones. 4 more. Okay, 75 plus 4 more. I always start my adding in the ones column. So 5 plus 4 is equal to 9. And 7 plus nothing is equal to 7. So 75 plus 4 more is equal to 79. And the strategy that we used was the Work Math 3 and the cubes. Great job. Now that you're done with this page, we'll move on to the chapter review page. And you actually also need to go ahead and get out your blue and green crayons for this part. Okay, let's take a look together at the chapter review. It says, for number 1, circle the tens with the green. Here's our number, 48. Which one is in the tens column? The 4 or the 8? The 4. So let's take our green and circle the 4. Now you'll go ahead and switch to your blue crayon, and it says circle the ones with blue. Looking at our number 48, which number is in the ones column? The 8. Nice job. Okay, and there are some problems right here, and I'm going to let you complete these on your own. It says use WorkMath 3 and cubes to add. Write the sum. That means write the answer. So they have 34 plus 4 is equal to, and they've actually drawn it right here with cubes to help you out. So lining up your ones, add up your ones first, and then add up your tens, and you'll have your sum that you write here along the bottom. I'll let you do that for 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then you can pause here and join me for number 7 when you're ready. Okay, 7. There are 20 birds in the tree. 8 more birds joined them. How many birds are there in all? Well, mental math works best when they're both 2-digit numbers, and that's not what we have here. A paper and pencil strategy, if you just want to write it out, you could write them just like this. That would totally work. And if you also want to try WorkMath 3 and cubes by drawing those, go ahead and do that too. So you're going to choose what works best for you. 20 plus 8 more. You could even use your fingers here too. Starting off with 20, holding up 8 fingers and counting on. Go ahead and write your sum here at the bottom and circle which strategy you chose. When you finish 7, let's turn on to the next side. This side is called Caring City Zoo. Caring City Zoo has 5 kinds of birds. The zoo has a new building. It needs to move the birds into their new homes. Okay, here we have the different types of birds and the number, how many they have of each kind. We will use this table to help us as we complete these problems down below. Number 1, the finches and parrots will share a room. How many birds will be in the room in all? In all means this is addition. Okay, here's what we need to know. We need to look at the finches and the parrots. Something that's really important is that we need to make sure we're using our chart here to help us out. So finches, I look here for a finch, and it says there are 46. I need to write this correctly in my tens and my ones column. So I have 46. I write the 4 in the tens column, and I write the 6 in the ones column. Write it pretty small because you're going to need to leave some space for writing the parrots as well down below. Okay, the parrots have 8, so I'm going to write 8 here in my ones column. Okay, so I have 46 plus 8 more. That's what my problem looks like. Now, I think maybe a good strategy, you can use your fingers to help you count on. So start with 46 in your head, and we're going to hold up 8 fingers. So I'm going to set down my marker to do that. Okay, 8 fingers. I have 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so here are my 8 fingers, and I put 46 in my head. I go 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. There are 54 altogether. Now you might say, Miss Harnsey, I don't quite know how you made that look like that. That's okay. These ones are more challenging and they are a little bit different than what we've looked at before. So I know that when you're looking at this, you might think, oh, I don't quite know. But if you put that big number in your head and just count on with your fingers, you can trust yourself. You can do it just right without fully understanding quite how this one works yet, okay? This is a little bit of a trickier skill, and this is called something where you regroup. And that's something you're going to become an expert at in 2nd grade for sure, okay? But let's go ahead and continue right here. Number 2, the flamingos. The flamingos and condors will share a room. How many birds will be in the room in all? In all is addition. So let's take a look at the 2 amounts that we're adding together. Flamingos here, flamingo says that there are 38. So I'm going to write that small here. My 38, the 3 goes in the tens place value, and the 8 goes in my ones. And now I need to look at condors. Condor, I see there are 5 of them. So I'm going to put that 5 in the ones column. Okay, so I'm going to start with 38 and I'm going to count on adding 5. I know that my hand has 5, so I'm going to go 38 in my head, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. There are 43. And again, you might think, oh, this is tricky. I don't understand how this works. That's okay. It's called regrouping and making another group of 10. And again, that's something you'll continue in 2nd grade, because I can't believe it, but you're almost ready for 2nd grade. It's true. But even if you don't know quite how that works yet with regrouping, it's totally fine. Just put this bigger number in your head, count on with your fingers, and you've got the strategy. Okay. Now this last one says try your own. Use the chart right up here to write your own problem. You get to pick what 2 birds you would like to add together to share their room, and how many will there be in all. Your job now, you can pick 2 different birds from here and then write it in the tens and ones. Now, there are some ways to make this a little simpler. There's some ways to make this more challenging. You pick what is most comfortable for you. For example, if you want to make this a little bit easier, I would stick to the 1-digit numbers and adding those together. Maybe you're ready for like a middle challenge, kind of like what we were just doing here, where one of your numbers is a 2-digit number and the other one is a 1-digit number. And maybe the highest challenge, most difficult one would be is if you have 2 2-digit numbers. Really tricky. So you find what level is best for you that you can feel successful, and try it on your own right down here below.